Hey, what's up, everyone? John here.
Eric?
I know it's kind of a lame idea because it's something that's been done to death, right? Reaction. But we figured, hey, why the hell not, right? Because we love wrestling. This is going to be a wrestling channel. And you and me, we know quite a bit about the Von Erich family.
Yeah.
So I heard about this movie. I didn't know it was going to be coming out this soon. For some reason, I thought it was going to be coming out next year. I wasn't keeping very much up to date on it. So the trailer just dropped. It dropped a couple days ago. We probably should have done this a couple days ago, but we didn't have the time. But we're doing it now.
Yes. So this right here is 100% raw, 100%.
Yeah. So
yeah.
we purposely did not watch this
Exactly.
trailer just to do this video, just to get an actual organic reaction on it. Because, like I said, we both know quite a bit about the Von Erich families. We've watched a lot of documentaries about them, read a lot about them now. We both had the pleasure of watching Kerry Von Erich wrestle in the WWE as the Texas Tornado. Though I knew that he was from a wrestling family, I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, I got to see his brothers wrestle. I did know that he was from the Von Erich family because I do remember seeing, like, merchandise at the local general store that had, like, Von Erich stuff.
Yeah. I knew about it also because my dad was stationed in Texas.
Oh.
And when I would watch the Texas Tornado, I don't know if I ever told you this, I would watch the Texas Tornado, and when I would say Kerry Von Erich, because before he was just a Texas Tornado, they did say Kerry Von Erich back when he first started WWE.
Yes, when he
WWF
first started.
at the time.
That's true.
And my mom would say, oh, where's his brothers? I don't think I've ever told you that. But
No,
she would
you
say that
didn't tell
because
me
my
that.
mom lived in Texas in the 80s when my dad was stationed in Texas. So I've heard of his brother. Like, he has brothers? You know what I mean? So fast forward into life, when all the documentaries come out and everything, I learned a lot more about the Von Erich family. And yeah, so like I said, we spent a couple days not watching this, so I'm actually pretty stoked
I'm
to
really
watch this
interested
right now.
to see what's going on.
Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, so without further ado, here we go.
Ever since I was a child, people said my family was cursed. Mom tried to protect us with God. Pop tried to protect us with wrestling. He said if we were the toughest, the strongest, nothing could ever hurt us.
Nice.
I believed it. We all did.
Morning.
Pants tomorrow, please, David.
David.
Harry, I
Here.
want you to join your brothers in the ring.
Yes, sir.
The guy who they got to play Fritz kind of does look like him.
Then Kev, then David, then Mike. But the rankings can always change.
What do you want in life, Kevin Von Erich?
More ribs? I want to be with my family.
He
You know, be with my brother.
What do you like to do with your brothers?
brass.
Nice.
Free birds. It's great.
I can do anything.
We're here to restore justice to the Wrestling Federation that our father built with his own 2 hands.
Auditorium.
Down to us.
Did a whole remake on it and everything.
Live with the iron.
That's pretty good.
So what do you think? Like we're alive.
I love your family, Kevin.
Hungry, uncle?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, that makes me so happy. I talk to you about something, Mom. It's too tough on us. You gotta say something.
Baby, that's what your brothers are
You feel that? You feel that? That's important.
So they're gonna go there.
I'm finally getting seriously under sick. I'm scared, man. It all out of control.
So they're,
terrible accident.
I should have stopped it.
so they're gonna do a memorial
Not my
show.
family.
Your job
For the
is to
champions.
wrestle. Live up to that deal, what we are through. Look out for it!
I mean,
I just love being out there with you guys.
okay.
It's the only thing that
Let's
matters.
go fly down. No shoes. No boots. This is.
Wow. Okay.
It looks so far, yeah. Okay. So it does look. Alright. Alright, it does look interesting. The casting choices, though, I don't know about all of them.
I know I was kind of in the beginning a little bit off with Zac Efron, but
Yeah.
watching this now, he's doing good.
Yeah.
I think he's come a long way as an actor.
That's
Because
a long way from 17 again?
it's like I know what Kevin Von Erich looks like, but
Yeah.
I'm watching him act like Kevin, and they don't look, of course, identical. They don't
No.
look. They don't really look alike, but I can feel the Kevin.
Yeah, that's
You know
the
what I
thing.
mean?
Like I'm seeing like some of the like whoever they got to play David doesn't. He's more handsome than, than David was. Let's be honest.
Bro.
He's way more handsome than David actually was.
Yeah.
You know, and look, David Von Erich, obviously they say was the best in ring
Yeah.
worker of the bunch. So it's not a knock. I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
When I first found out about this movie coming out, I thought it was, I don't know why in my head I'm thinking like this is gonna be kind of hard to do. Is it gonna have like a cheesy look to it? That looked really cool.
Yeah, no,
that
it
looked
did.
really cool to me. And
I like that they
one thing
Yeah.
that I've never heard of or don't hear a lot from is Kevin's wife
Yeah.
at all. I don't even think I've ever seen a picture of her on Google.
No, yeah, I don't.
Like nothing, zero.
yeah, I
So the
don't think
fact
she's
that
ever been in interviews
this
or anything,
movie
yeah.
looks personal, where it look, I don't know if I didn't see that right. Did it look like he was cheating on her for a second? Was that her, the same actor? I could be wrong, but it
I don't
looked.
know.
It looked when she. It looked like a girl was talking to Kevin. I could be wrong. I'll have to watch it again. This is
Yeah.
my first time watching
We
it.
could-
It could have been the same actress, not, but it looked almost like an affair type of deal.
Yeah.
Hopefully not, but it shows like how they met, how and all that stuff. It's personal. I like
Yeah.
that. I didn't think it was gonna be like that.
Yeah.
So they're showing the story.
Well, that's, I mean, they're. It seems like they're gonna go there with
Yeah.
the whole Fritz being hard on them and stuff.
Yeah.
Which has always been like a point of contention because Kevin Von Erich is always like, oh, he wasn't that bad. He was a good man and stuff like that. But then like when you hear stories of people that knew them personally,
Yeah.
they say the opposite. Is like, nah, he was kind of
Rough.
He was kind of rough with them. Like,
Yeah.
he did push them a lot. Like when you hear other accounts of like other wrestlers and people close to the family, they say the opposite. Like he was good for some things, but a lot of it he actually was really tough on them.
Yeah.
So it looks like they are gonna.
Who played Ric Flair? Did you see that?
No,
I was trying to pinpoint what actor. I haven't looked at anything. I haven't looked at no IMDb's to see the cast or nothing. I just know that
The only
GMJF is GF.
yeah, I know he's gonna be Lance Von Erich, but I didn't see him in here though, or maybe I missed him. But
Yeah.
I do know that the one guy that's playing Fritz, that guy has been in a lot of TV shows. He used to be in CSI Miami. He was on CSI Miami for a bit, but his character ended up like offing himself. And I believe he was on a Netflix series too called Mindhunter, I believe. That only ran for like 2 seasons. I think it ended up getting canceled because there hasn't been any new seasons for like 2 or 3 years now. So I think the show got canceled. But he was in that series for a little while too. The guy who plays Fritz. He was one of the main guys in that series, one of the main investigators. But I think it's a good casting choice because he does kind of look like Fritz. Of all the people that they got, though, he's the one that I think closely resembles who he's actually playing in the movie. The other people, not so much, but I mean, I guess it's just going to come down to their performance. See how much Zac Efron acts like,
Now,
Kevin.
I looked up Jeremy Allen White's height for a reason, and because there's a scene in there when they're partying, you can noticeably see the height difference. And
Yes.
I looked it up, and Jeremy Allen White's height is only 5'7", and Carrie was 6'2".
Yeah, that's a big. There
was a very noticeable scene in here where you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I mean, David was the tallest, and then it was like Kerry. Then Kevin, I think, was the shortest. Yeah, even though Kevin was older than both of them.
But
not that
listen,
that matters.
listen,
I mean,
listen.
people grow
This
differently,
isn't an actual documentary. It's a movie. It's a movie, so things don't have to be point. My reason for saying is these actors, as long as like a feel. I've watched so much videotape on all the brothers, and I could, like I said, Zac Efron doesn't really look like Kevin Von Erich, but I was feeling Kevin, like
his mannerisms,
energy and
like
stuff.
the way
Exactly.
he was,
Body language and all that. So I mean, if the actors do a good job, that's fine. That's cool. But like,
it seems like the way he.
that was a
moves,
very noticeable thing, though. It was like, whew, I was like, whoa.
The way it seems like he moves, at least initially from seeing it, it looks like
That ring rope, it was pretty cool. That was a cool scene.
Yeah,
when he was
running the ropes.
so,
Yeah, he looks like he moves like he probably studied a lot of tape on Kevin and probably try to get his mannerisms, how he moves down. It looks like that, especially when he does the splash.
Oh, yeah.
That did remind me of
Yeah.
like the way Kevin does the splash. That he puts his how he puts his legs back when he does that cross body. So I thought that was
It's a little flying squirrel.
No, but I want to see more.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see more. I hope they come out with another trailer before the movie drops. But at least as far as the first trailer goes, it's got me interested.
Oh yeah,
Like I definitely want to see what the
I'm
movie's
very
gonna be
interested because
like.
there's a lot of things that we don't know much about the Von Erichs.
Yeah.
Everybody by now has dig deep. I've been digging deep like really hard ever since the Triumph and Tragedy came out in 2007.
Yeah. Yep.
That's when I really started digging.
Yeah.
I always knew about
Same,
the Von
same.
Erich brothers, but that's when I started to head dive in 2007 for a long time. There's a lot of things we don't know about from the extended friends and family of the Von Erichs. Example, I never even seen like I said, I haven't seen a picture of Kevin's wife, but ever.
Yeah. I don't think she's ever done an interview.
Neither has David's wife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We barely know about Doris Atkinson, the mother.
Yeah.
We barely know about her.
She's the only one that I think, because she would appear on TV sometimes in WCCW, but even like Carrie's wife, I'm not even sure if
Yeah,
there was I think there's pictures.
I saw a
of
talk
her.
show. I saw them on a
Yeah.
talk show once. I thought it was really
Yeah.
funny. It was hilarious
Oh,
though.
you
Yeah, they
Carrie's
were on this talk show type thing, but I forgot what it was. It could have been Sally Jesse Raphael.
Carrie's wife was?
Carrie and his wife.
Oh, okay.
It was like Sally Jesse Raphael. I remember seeing it a while ago. Unless it was a fever dream I had, but I remember seeing it.
Because
And
I've seen stuff with pictures of her in it. Like, I think the Dark Side of the Ring
Yeah.
episode, I think, didn't they, or one of those.
no.
No, it might have been the news report, the current affair news report.
Yeah,
from back in
that's
the
me.
90s.
She was in the
Maybe-
Dark Side of the Ring.
Maybe that
But
was it.
maybe
I don't know.
we'll get-
I know I've seen a picture of her. I'm sure about that because I've seen
Yeah.
a picture of her and when Carrie's daughter was a little girl.
Yeah.
I've seen a picture of them in one of the interviews. Or
This right here,
one of
this
the things.
movie right here seems like they're gonna get in depth with all that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
It's like okay, guys, here's the story. Here's extended member family and friends and all that, and we're just gonna let it out. Here's the story, so that looks really cool. I honestly thought, not to be a negative person, but I can't help but think in my head, they're gonna make it kind of cheesy. There's like this weird pompous way of people make movies these days, where
Yeah.
it's very too dramatic,
Yeah.
too in your
Yeah,
face.
yeah.
They were brilliant. You know what I mean?
They were
So I
brothers.
can't help
They
but
liked
think
to
negative
party.
like that, and
Yeah.
it sucks. This looks good.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
It looks like they're gonna put the important things that matter into the story. Seen the scene. I thought that was David go like, talking about his.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That hit me right there for a split second. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, they're gonna go there. Well, it also seems like they're gonna go into the territory that, like, you know, obviously they never really specifically got into it, but the brothers, you know, proclivity for partying and stuff
Yes,
like that.
yeah.
They're gonna go there because that's something that's not. Obviously, it's something that anybody who knew them talks about in interviews and stuff like that. It's like, oh yeah, they like to party too, but like Kevin himself, we're in Triumph and Tragedy. They didn't really talk about that aspect of like all of them getting into it, even though there was stuff that they mentioned. Yeah, you know, Kevin did mention, David would self-medicate sometimes, but he didn't try to say anything like, oh well, he had a drug problem or anything like that, and or go down that road with any of his brothers really too far. I mean, it's kind of like a known thing, so it was like he stayed away from getting into like details, like, oh yeah, we would do this or we would do that or we would go to the party and do this and that. It was more kind of like, okay, this happened, you know, there was times Dave was self-medicating, and like as far as Carrie went, it was more or less talking about the aftermath of, you know what I mean, of everything. You know, it was kind of like, you know, Carrie, you know, he self-deleted because of the shame and whatnot, without getting into like all the other stuff that kind of led there. He kind of, it was the way they edited it, at least I'm sure maybe they did, because, you know, a lot of those interviews, they leave a lot of stuff out, but it's kind of, instead of letting, if Kevin did talk about that stuff, it's kind of like they let everybody else kind of fill those gaps and talk about that.
Yeah.
You know, kind of lightly, you know. But it looks like with this movie, it's just like they're going to show like, well, hey, here's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
We're gonna,
They
we're gonna
probably
show
should,
everything.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm wondering, I'm sure they probably got Kevin to be a consultant or something like that on this movie.
Oh, yeah.
They had to.
Yes.
You know, he's the only one left, and probably people that were in WCCW that are still alive.
I wonder if they have other people in WCCW on there though.
I wouldn't be
Like
surprised
they
if
would
they
show
had a
like
couple
Gino
of them.
Hernandez. And,
Oh, they have to.
know what I mean?
There's no way. I mean, look, the Freebirds obviously.
I mean, but you
Yeah,
can't say
you
the
can't.
Von Erich story without the
you
Freebirds
can't.
though.
There's no way you could have a movie about the Von Erichs without the Freebirds. Anyways, it's the greatest trio feud, you know, in probably in all of wrestling history, but for sure in WCCW. But one of the greatest feuds, I would say, even in wrestling
And
history.
a lot of people are gonna watch this. This is going to be one of those movies that just blow over. Because right there you can see day 3 that this trailer's come out already got 3.5 million views.
Yeah.
Man, that's good. I'm happy to see that, man. And the story just doesn't go into the ether of history. Like, we're keeping this stuff alive. And yeah, I can't wait for this. When is it supposed to come out?
December 22nd.
In theaters.
In
I didn't know
theaters,
that.
Oh, you thought it was going to be like a streaming service exclusive?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times that's what they're doing, though. But yeah, no, this is probably what I'm going to go see
Oh man, this
in
is
the
good.
theater.
This is yes, I am too. I am too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'll make an exception for this. There's not a lot of movies I like to go watch in the
Neither
theater.
have I.
But
Last time I saw a movie in the theater was 2013-ish, maybe.
yeah, this is one I'm definitely
Yeah.
going to go see in the theater, though. But so my overall thoughts, I guess, is it looks like it's going to be.
Good.
It looks like it's going to be good.
Great. Yeah, I yeah.
At least from this initial, trailer. Obviously, sometimes the trailers fool you, and the movie can end up being hot garbage. I don't know. I think it'll be one. I think it'll be, at least from what I've seen, my impression of it is it's got my interest. So I think it will be good. But you can never tell from the trailer. Sometimes trailers oversell a movie and it ends up being garbage. But sometimes they do exactly what. Obviously, trailers, their purpose is to get you interested to go watch the movie, and this one at least got me interested in watching the movie.
Yeah,
Which is the main thing.
There's also going to be a lot of people that watch this that know nothing about the Von Erichs
Yes.
and they just want to be entertained. But the greater majority are going to be people who know about them already. So whether they did a good job making the movie or not,
Yeah.
I think that's irrelevant. To be honest, I think the fans are going to be watching this be very entertained anyway,
Yeah.
because we're watching something that we've seen. So to somebody who doesn't know much, it's probably good. Oh, where's the entertainment? Like, to us, it's like, my satisfaction is getting taken care of here. You know what I mean?
And how they tell the story. That's the other thing too. I really want to see how they tell the story, and who knows? I mean, we might actually learn something that we didn't know. It's possible. I mean, a lot of times,
Oh, they showed a lot of stuff that I didn't think I was gonna know. Like the whole Kevin and his fit, like that. To me, I'm still bugged out by that. It just hit me while I'm watching this. Like, yes, I've watched so much and read so much about Kevin. I have no idea about his
about his
family.
wife, yeah.
His wife is his.
we know about his sons because they're wrestling. And stuff
Marshall
like that.
and Ross.
They've been in interviews and stuff too. But yeah, exactly. His wife and his.
It's like oh yeah, that's right. He has an extended family.
Yeah.
He has his own family. It's like we just never hear about
Yeah.
it. So I'm like, whoa, they're showing like how they met and everything, and yeah.
It seems like he's always.
If
kept
they
that
went through
separate.
trials and tribulation, we don't know. You
Exactly.
know what I mean? And
if there was infidelity there or anything like that, but it's gonna be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to it. So all right, so we just watched the trailer again just to see things that we might have missed, and there was something that we both noticed as we watched the entire.
when we were
trailer.
watching the family photo, we noticed we didn't see Chris on there.
Yes.
Like we're like, who's playing Chris?
Yes.
Why is not Chris in there?
They had Jackie.
They had Jack, who
They had
tragically
Jackie.
passed away
Yeah,
when he was
the first Von Erich.
like I think 7.
Yeah.
But
when
not
he was like
Chris.
6 or 7 years old. Yeah, he wasn't in the family photograph
Now,
that they
if
had.
I'm wrong, I'm gonna look stupid, but fine.
Yeah.
I went on Google and I didn't see an actor portraying Chris.
Yep.
I saw a couple of questions like, is Chris Von Erich in the
Yeah.
new Iron Claw movie? And then I saw another one, I haven't read it yet. It said, why is not Chris Von Erich in the Iron
Yes.
Claw? What the hell? Like, okay, even I don't know the reasoning. It could be a reason that I don't know. It could be, I have no clue.
They could have a good reason.
It could
for
have a
Maybe it's
very good
time,
reason.
Maybe it has to do with time, but it's just.
But
It's weird.
I'm sorry if this movie is really good, that takes a lot of points away from this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is a Von Erich brother. You got Lance Von Erich, a fake Von Erich in the movie.
Yes.
But Chris, who is a blood brother, part of the family,
The only thing,
was in the business, tragically committed suicide, and he's not a part. I don't.
see, I think it's because it seems like the movie mostly takes place in the early 80s and probably will. I feel like it's going to cover up to the point where David dies, probably, and maybe they mention all the other stuff later. But even still, even if they're doing that, right, it's like Chris was obviously a little kid during the early 80s, but he was still there. He was still around. He even got involved in some instances back in the 80s when he was a little kid. You know, he got involved.
When he hit, I forgot who it was.
It was one time where he tackle like Gino Hernandez.
He
or
tackled
Chris Adams
yeah, that was
in
at
one
the
of-
hair match.
Yeah, in the hair match. I think he tackled one of them. I can't
Yeah.
remember one of them that tried to get away. But
And then when the Freebirds, they were doing the angle with Mike Von Erich.
Yeah.
And they were roughing up Mike, the Freebirds, and Chris Von Erich, little kid,
was a little kid,
grabbed
yeah.
the chair.
and hit him. Yeah, he hit him in the back. See, that's what I mean. They mentioned Mike. See, that's the other thing we noticed too. Is like after seeing the picture, we're like, "Where's Chris?" And then throughout the course, they mention Mike. They do mention Mike in the movie. They mention Carrie, Kevin, David, and Mike, but they don't mention Chris
That's
like at all.
weird. That's
and
so
it's
bizarre.
like it would be so weird.
That
Because,
is
and I know
weird.
that look, Chris obviously he didn't die till the 90s. He died 2 years before Carrie did. 91.
91.
Carrie died in 93, as we know. But the thing is, it doesn't. That
Make-
shouldn't matter.
it doesn't
It's just
make-
like it doesn't. He's still a part of the story.
There
Like,
has
they
to
could've-
be
Yeah, I don't know. It's
a
weird.
reason why, and look, this is new to us. So if you know
Yeah.
the answer, you're probably screaming. It's because of this. Put it down on or put
Yeah,
it in a
let
comment.
us know in the comment section
Because-
what reason, if any, that they've given. Because, or maybe maybe we're jumping the gun. Maybe he is in the movie, but he has a very minor role. Maybe they're gonna have a guy, but it's weird
I'll say
that they
this.
wouldn't have him in,
In the
family
portrait?
Yeah.
Exactly.
He would still be there.
Yeah, why isn't he in the
Yeah,
portrait?
he would at least still be there because he would still be
He
there as a
was
little
not
kid.
in the portrait. That's creepy.
Yeah.
That's messed up, kind of.
It's like they
I
erased
don't
it
know the
from
reason.
history,
I don't know
from
the
the
reason.
history, yeah.
Well, I'll say it again.
Again, we could be wrong. We could be wrong. It could
Because
just
of
be,
this, even if I enjoy this movie, love this movie, I'm sorry, this takes
Yeah,
a
that'll
lot
take
away.
a lot away from it because again,
it's
he's
already-
still part
yeah.
of the story. He's still a part of the tragic kind of history of
Yeah.
the Von Erichs. And it's just like, it's worth mention. I think it's worth
It's not.
telling.
It's
a
not
story
just
about-
worth mentioning. The story's incomplete without him.
Well, what is? Well, when you think about it, especially the way they talk about Chris Von Erich, people that knew Chris Von Erich, Kevin the way he talks about Chris Von Erich and how Chris loved the business, and he was like, it was like the opposite of Mike. Where you hear people talk about Mike, not just Kevin and people that knew Mike. Other people in the business, they always said like, yeah, he wanted to be more of like a production guy. He was really more fascinated by the production aspect, or that's what's been said, that he was more fascinated by what went on behind the camera as opposed to being an actual wrestler or talent and stuff like that. He was more interested in some of that other stuff, but he didn't get a chance to really do any of it. Whereas Chris was like wanting to be in the
Chris's
ring.
whole heart.
Chris was like passionate
Yeah.
about wrestling and wanted really badly to be a wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
And his heart was in-
hero was Carrie.
Yes.
They've mentioned that in
Yeah.
interviews. His hero was Carrie. He
Yeah.
wanted to be like Carrie, but the fans knows
He was sickly.
Yeah, he was sickly. He had a stunted growth, 5'6". He had asthma, brittle bone, and it just wasn't there for him.
Yeah,
and
his
Kevin
heart
tried.
his heart was. I mean, not literally, but he had the heart for it, but his body just wasn't.
Yeah, so
Wasn't
to
up
not,
to
I'm
the
sorry,
task.
man. To not.
Yeah, and it's just like, and I think that's even if it's minor, if it's only a minor amount of time that they talk about that, right? Like Chris's passion for wanting to be a wrestler and stuff like that, I think is worthy of a mention.
Very.
In a story about the Von Erichs. I know that this movie is it's obviously going to be mostly centered around Kevin, which would make sense
Yeah.
because he's the only one left. He's the only one left alive. So it makes sense that they would, center the movie around him. But man, like if Chris is like not in it at all, yeah, I have to agree. It's just like you're telling an incomplete story.
Yeah.
And that's going to be, and I think it's worthy of telling his story, even if people might look at Chris and say, well, his role in the wrestling business was the least significant of all the Von Erichs. At least Mike got to do many matches and stuff like that. You know what I mean? He had a longer
if he's not in
wrestling
it, I would
career
imagine
than Chris.
a lot of people are.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It takes so much.
I mean, I'm
away.
still gonna watch it,
I'm
but
still
it's-
gonna watch
but-
it too, of
but
course,
it's like-
it takes so much away. How can you not have Chris
Yeah.
Von Erich, a Von Erich brother, a brother who we all know that this when we think sadly we think of the name Von Erich, we automatically think tragedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he is a brother that's a part of this tragic story. I'm dumbfounded that he's not
Well,
in
he was-
it,
he
or
was-
if he.
He was the second one to.
This is still new news to
intentionally-
me, so I hope,
Yeah.
like I'm wrong still. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But-
he was the second one to intentionally, that we know of, intentionally take his own
Third.
life. You know what I mean? Well, second, because we don't know if David intentionally took his own life,
No,
right?
third.
No, he was
No.
intentionally. I mean intentionally.
Yeah,
like
okay,
that
okay, I see what you're saying.
He
I see
committed,
what you're saying, I see what you're saying.
he committed
Yeah,
seppuku,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Well,
Like-
including with Jackie 4, right?
Yeah, I
Wouldn't
mean,
that
yeah.
be the 4th?
Well, no. I mean intentionally.
I know
Like,
intentionally, but I'm just saying
yeah,
death period.
He'd be
He's
the,
a
of death,
he's a
yeah.
brother.
He's the fourth brother.
And when
to
we
die,
think
yeah.
of the name, we think of tragedy. He's part of that.
Yeah.
He's part of that story. It's not just a little piece. It's a big piece. It's one of those
Yeah.
pieces where it's like you can't tell the story without him in it.
Yeah,
Like I
think it's
said,
weird. It's incomplete. It's just not complete.
I'm gonna dig deep into why, and if I see why, I'll do it up. I'll do a video on my iPad and just say, oh, okay, I get why they didn't there,
Yeah.
and I get. But as for now, because I'm just ignorant and I don't right now to what's going on, because we're just not watching this now. Right now, I don't know, and I don't
We can only
see. I
speculate.
don't see
Yeah.
any reason why
the,
they don't put Chris in it.
the only reason I think of that they could have for not including Chris's story in this is maybe due to time, because it's obviously they're going to talk about Kevin, they're going to talk about David, they're going to talk about Carrie, they're going to talk about Mike, so maybe they just felt like, well, these guys, Chris's role in wrestling was much shorter than the rest of them, and it was also in the dying days of WCCW, right? Or I think he might have stayed on until it became USWA. I can't remember, but his story, or at least his career in wrestling was shorter than the rest of them. But it's just, again, he's still part of the story. That's just what makes it weird,
Yeah.
because he was still around during the WCCW days,
and he was
did
involved.
get involved.
He
even as a kid.
Yeah,
he
as a
did
kid,
get involved
he was
in some
involved,
of the angles.
and he was passionate, and he wanted
Yeah.
it too. It's
So it was just, I don't know why they wouldn't. What I mean? They don't, even if the whole thing is just a story that's just taking place in the 80s, I think you could still at least show that Chris is there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if you're not going to make him a focus of the overall story, but maybe talk about later on, how they do the aftermath of everything.
Yeah,
They said,
I don't like
in
it.
1991, Chris then took his life, and then in 1993, Carrie followed. If they're
Yeah,
gonna end the movie before,
I'm sorry,
any of
man.
those
I'm
other
sorry.
tragedies,
I like I said, I'm still gonna watch it, but so far, I'm sorry. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling this. I'm gonna read. Like I said, I'll say it again. I'll beat it over the head. I'm gonna say it again. I don't know the reason. It's probably a very good reason why. I'm gonna look into it. But for now, a guy that with questions,
yeah,
if they didn't put him in just because, if there isn't a good reason why,
yeah.
I'm sorry that I'm still gonna watch it, but it's already.
It
to me.
affects.
I'm
It's
sorry.
Gonna affect, it's
I'm
gonna
sorry.
affect
As in,
your
it
opinion.
looks good. It looks great. It looks cool. It looks good. The visuals and everything. The story.
Yeah, but it's gonna
You don't
affect your
have
opinion
Chris
of
on
the
there
movie. Yeah,
for a reason like timing, or we just couldn't fit him in. I'm sorry. No, that's already. I'm giving.
Yeah. I think that's
I'm taking at least 3 stars away.
you said.
just because of that.
Yeah. You brought
It
up a
could
good
say
point.
if it's a really good story, I'll give it 2.5 stars. But I'm telling you this right now, even if it is really good, my ending rating would be 2.5 stars. You just can't do that.
Well, that's the thing.
You
You
know what
brought
I
up a good point. Like, if they can afford it, because even if it's just like a cameo by MJF,
Mm-hmm.
where they use him in very few scenes as Lance Von Erich, if you can make room for Lance Von
Mm-hmm.
Erich, who wasn't even a real, Von Erich, then you could have made a little bit of time for Chris. Even if you weren't gonna like dive deep into his story, but it's like
have him around.
make it seem like he
hire a little
didn't even
kid.
exist. If it's a thing like he's not in the movie at all, like he never existed, like he wasn't one of the brothers, like he wasn't there, that he just does not exist. I think that's a
Ouch.
huge
That
disservice.
hurts. This
That's
hurts
a
just to
huge
say.
disservice.
That hurts just to
That's
say.
a huge disservice, I think, to
Well,
fans
let's
and also to the Von Erich family.
we'll dig deep in.
Or the Atkinson family.
We'll dig into this. We'll try to see why. Maybe there's a good reason, and if there is, then I'll be like, oh, cool. You know what? I could see that. But for right this second, I don't see any reason why they would do that. It kind of hurts a little. It does. I don't mean to sound sensitive, but Jesus, man, that's Chris Von Erich. He was a brother.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, they got Lance, and they got a picture of Jackie.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Which is
Yes.
great. I want them to have a picture of Jackie. I want them
good,
to
yeah.
have a character to play Lance Von Erich because that was important to the story also. But
Yeah.
you don't have Chris on there?
Yeah, that'll be really weird if he's not a part of this. That'll be really weird. And maybe maybe
Jumping the gun on
we're
information
jumping the
here 'cause
gun.
we don't have enough
Yeah,
info,
we don't
but-
know, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, we just wanted to add this part into the video. Probably gone a little bit longer than we intended,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's our little rant about that. But hopefully we're wrong. Maybe
I hope I'm wrong. Yep.
Hopefully we're wrong. Maybe we just missed them. Maybe it was just in that particular picture, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they have another one that they show like there's
Maybe
all
Google's broken, and when I
something,
put that
yeah.
information on, it just didn't.
Maybe he
come
was
on.
there. We completely missed him. But anyways, let us know what y'all think.
I'd rather look like an idiot.
Yeah, no, me too. Yeah,
I'd rather have Chris on
I'd rather
there.
be wrong. Yeah, so just let us know what y'all think though. But yeah, that's it.